I am Councillor Amanda Stevens, the Mayor of the City of Port Phillip. What we really try and do at the City of Port Phillip is look after the services that we run ourselves and make them as sustainable as possible, and also enable the community to engage in their own practices and participate in their own way so that they reduce their own footprint as well. We have an overarching policy towards zero policy, which sets us quite an ambitious goal that we've been working towards through successive councils, which says that we'll have zero emissions by 2020 from our own council services and operations. Some of the big projects that we're doing in the next year will be fitting solar cells to this building, the St Kilda Town Hall that we're in today. There's also things like replacing all the street lighting from incandescent bulbs to LED bulbs, and that's been a huge capital project, but also very significant ongoing saving to the community, somewhere in the order of about $600,000. The targets also relate to the community, so we'd like to see the community reduce their greenhouse emissions by 50%, and we'd like to see potable water use down by 70%. That's our 2020 target. Potable water use is also a big challenge. We have lots of gardens that need to be maintained, and with increasing population, there is a real tension between how do you maintain gardens and soccer fields and cricket pitches to a standard that the community expects, and yet keep your potable water usage down. We're trying to maintain our pristine bay environment and have less pollutants rushing into the bay. One of the ways that we can deal with the competing pressures of, the pressure from perhaps ratepayers to keep our rates as low as possible, people who wish to drive cars, and our sustainability goals, is to really enter into a conversation with the community about what the future looks like. So we have a big ongoing conversation about sustainable transport, for instance. There is, a growing population that we have, and that leads to tension around car parking, and that's probably one of the biggest areas of concern for our residents. I don't perceive business to necessarily be, anti-sustainability. I think that probably plays out in a sort of a transport and parking sense there. Enhancing the ability of 30,000 people to walk up and down in front of your shop is much better than losing one or two car parks. It's hard for change to happen, and especially when it's somebody's business, it's their source of income, and it's their risk that they're taking. So changes to streetscapes can be highly controversial and contentious, and I think that's probably where it plays out in a business sense for us more around that sustainable transport. Some people within the community are very passionate about sustainability, and we do hear from them a lot, and I think that's great that we have this engaged community. They come into the chamber and they ask us what we're doing and how we're tracking. And then there's others in the community who would say that we shouldn't be spending money on sustainability measures. So as decision makers, that's part of the conversation that we're constantly having.